Alright, so we're going to show you how to airbrush a face. So I have Hannah Havadi here, and I'm going to clean up her face. Hannah graduated, didn't she? Okay, good. I like to use students that are already gone. Because, I mean, let's face it, this can be embarrassing, and you're going to be getting up close and personal with people's faces, so you kind of have to get used to that idea. Alright, so the very first thing we do, always, Command J. Alright, so this is going to be my original. Alright, then I'm going to Command J one more time. So now I have something that I can actually mess around with. So I'm going to take this copy right here, and I'm going to blur it a little bit. So actually the first thing I'm going to do is add a curves layer. Follow my histogram down, make it a little bit darker, a little more dramatic. There. Alright, now I'm going to take my copy here, and I'm going to blur, Gaussian blur, about 10. And then I'm going to take my blending mode and turn it to color. And what that does is it picks up color from the layers below it. See, if I turn this off, then it goes back to color, or it goes back to blur. So this is going to be my blurred layer. Alright. Now the next thing I need to do is to decide, out of all these, which channel do I want to use. Now what channels do is it breaks up the image into red, green, and blue, and I'm looking for the one where her blemishes come out the most. And you can see red, not so much. I mean, she's very bright because white means that you can see the color. She has kind of a pinky kind of face, so there's a lot of red there, so that's why her face is so bright. Blue, her face is darker. There's hardly any blue to her. Green, I can see the blemishes pretty well. So I'm going to choose green for my channel that I'm going to work with. So I'm going to click back to RGB to turn all my channels back on. And then I'm going to double click on this layer and take out the red and take off the blue. And what that means is this layer is really just, whatever I do, it's going to affect the green pixel colors that are coming through, which is the one where you can see her blemishes the most. Alright, then I'm going to get a brand new layer that I'm going to use to heal her skin. So I'll call this one Zit Away. You can call it whatever you want. Call it Clear Cell. And I'm going to use this new tool over here called the Healing Brush tool. You might have a patch tool, you might have a red eye tool, you might say spot healing brush. You want healing brush tool. And then I'm going to zoom in and get to work. Now what this does is it looks for textures of skin, textures of whatever, and it duplicates them. Now it needs to have something to pull from first. So it's saying what's my source going to be. If I hold down Option, this turns into a little crosshairs, and I can say, well, I want to pull from there. I'll click, and it pulls that texture right over on top of the zit. So I'm going to pull from here and go there, and it takes care of zits. I have to be careful that I'm pulling from someplace nearby. If I wanted to take out this, I can't pull from this shiny part of skin because, ugh, look what that does. Yeah, I'm going to pull from right there, and it takes things out. So I'm going to go in here and just kind of start clicking and take out wherever I see a zit. So I'm Option click, then click. Option click, click. That's a mole, so I'm going to leave that. I'll leave defining characteristics like moles. Won't touch them. There we go. Go down here, take out that. Go over here, take out that. There's a little one there. Take out this one. So you can see it really just kind of takes the texture and replaces it. That's looking pretty good. Lines, it'll take out lines also. So like if you have crow's feet or you stayed up too late it'll take those out as well. There we go. I don't know if I can get that one. It's really close to her hairline. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, and now I can see the difference by just clicking this guy off and on. You can see what you've done. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate all three of these layers. So I'm going to take these guys, duplicate them, and then I'm going to combine them, merge them by hitting Command E, and that merges them all together. Now I'm going to make a face mask for her. And I do that by clicking on this button way over here, go to my paintbrush, and I'm going to put black on top, and I'm going to paint a mask for her. So it's the fastest way is to start by going and covering up her entire face. And what this quick mask does is whatever you paint will become a selection when you click this button again. See, so it's a selection now. Go click it again and it goes back to the paint on mode. See, now that part's a selection. So whatever I'm painting is going to get blurred out a little bit, make it look like she's wearing some makeup. There are some parts of her face I don't want blurred. So I'm going to take those out with the white. Key things you want to keep intact are like the edges of her face, edge of her chin. I can get a little bit closer down here, but I want to keep that edge right there. Also, I don't want to blur out key facial characteristics like her eyebrows, the eyes, and this is going to be a blur, so you can be a little sloppy. The ridge of her nose, anything around like her nostrils or the ridge line, you want to keep all that. And then the lips. Zoom in a little bit. I'm keeping the edge of her lips unselected also. So that the idea here is to get as close as you can without completely going over. There. Alright. So now I have her face mask selected. Click on this and it becomes a selection. Okay? Now what I want is to make sure that I have my marching ants along the outside here as well. That means that all of this is selected, the face is not selected. If you have the opposite, then you can go to Select Inverse and you should see the marching ants. I inverted it, so right now I don't see my marching ants, so that means only the face is selected. I'm going to invert it again and then hit delete, and then I'll select deselect. Okay, so it doesn't look like I did much, but watch this. Whoa, I can pull her face off, literally, and you can see it right there. So now I'm going to blur this guy again. Blur, Gaussian blur, a little bit more than what I was doing before. Well, no, actually, a little bit less, what I meant to say. About half, so I'll knock this down to about 5. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to lower the opacity just a little bit, maybe 70%. Okay, so this becomes her mask. Now I'm going to duplicate those same 3 one more time and merge them. And I'm going to put it above the mask. This is going to be my high pass filter. So I'm going to go to Filter, Other, High Pass. Knock this way down to where I see texture. That was pretty good. I can see your texture right there. And hit OK. And then I want this to become a clipping mask. So if I hold down Option and float between these two, it will only apply to that mask I've just made. So it looks kind of like a mud mask now. So now we get to play with our blending modes, and I have found that linear light works the best. Again, that's too much texture. You can really see her pores of her skin. So I'm going to lower the opacity of that high pass filter down to like maybe 30, and it softens up her skin really well. Alright, so if you want to see what it looks like, you can take that original, drag it to the very, very tip top, and turn them off and on. And you can see, the difference. Maybe you can darken this up just a little bit more if you want to, make it look a little more dramatic. If I wanted to, I could even go to hue saturation because she's looking pretty red. Go to my reds, desaturate those just a little bit, makes her look a little more natural.
That background's cool.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.